Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we want to talk about performance and how to 10x the speed of your application using Redis and Celery. So if you're looking into speeding up the application, this is the right video for you. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing that you will need is that you will need to install the packages that you'll need to install Redis as well as Celery. Then we'll also learn how to configure them in our Heroku account. So make sure that you have Heroku installed inside your application, and then all you need to do is to just go ahead and run. You log in into the terminal, so just gonna say Heroku login. You can just hit login. Okay, so now we are now logged in. Now the next thing that you need to do is that we need to install the Heroku add-on for you inside your Heroku application. So if you just say Heroku add-ons, I have Heroku Redis add-on installed. So if I just check at Heroku add-ons, you can be able to see that I already have the add-on installed. So you can see that I have the Heroku Redis installed, but if you haven't installed it, you can just run the command Heroku add-ons, then you install the Heroku Redis. So that is how you run the command for installing the add-on. So once we have that set up, we also need the configuration. So you need to set up the URL for the Redis server. So Heroku config should be config. Then we want to get the Redis URL. That's the URL that we'll add inside our environment variables so that you can use it. Yeah, so that's the URL that you need to have. Just copy this one, then inside your environment variables you go ahead and save it in there. So I do have an env file here which has all my environment variable ready set up. We need to do some few more configurations before we can test it out. So the first thing that you need to do is to actually add them inside our environment variable, which we've already done. Now the next step is to actually configure them inside our settings.py file. So inside my main project folder, inside settings.py, there should be some settings over here at the bottom. Yes, we do have the Celery settings. Make sure that you just get the Redis URL from your .env file as well as the Celery broker URL. This is how they will be communicating with the application, through this URL. Then the Celery backend results, the Redis URL that you just saw inside the terminal. Then we also have, they are accepting the content of JSON as well as the result serializer is of type. So let's go ahead and see our first task that I just created. So inside my onboarding.py, because this was the problem, whenever I was onboarding a new tenant, it was running a lot of applications such as sending emails, sending SMS, right, creating an invoice, sending the PDF invoice. So that was a lot of tasks that I was doing synchronously without the background task. So I found it handy to be able to create a background task to be able to handle this one, to offload the task from the main memory. So let's go ahead inside my services.py file. It's the tenant onboarding service that does a lot of things. For example, you can see it does the email service, subscription for creating a trial subscription whenever a new tenant is onboarded. We also have the invoice service for creating the invoice itself. Then these are the methods that we defined inside it. And then lastly is the signal part, because this service here will run whenever a tenant is created using the Django signal. So inside my tenants application, I do have the tenants.py file, the signals.py file that is going to handle created. So whenever a tenant has been created here, we are just going to call the process tenant onboarding task. So that is how it runs. You create a new tenant, then you just invoke the process onboarding. That is a task that was created inside the onboarding application, and then it will execute all those methods from sending emails, sending the credentials, sending the SMS, as well as creating the domains and the super admins. So it's really handy to be able to keep your application performance by adding these technologies such as Redis and Celery for your application. So once we have that done, we just log out some errors whenever the tenant our onboarding fails. You can also check them inside your Heroku logs. It's really important. It has some way of enabling you to view your logs. So that is the signal as well as the onboarding. So each application has like its own service. For example, if we look at billing, we do have the services.py file. That then all these services are being imported inside our main application, that is the onboarding services. So we have all the small functions such as setting up domain, creating admin, and trials. So that is that for our setup. Let's go ahead inside our application and actually test it out. So it's already deployed. Let's just go back to Heroku, open application, then go to the tenant. I don't have any tenant right now, so let's add a new one, add tenant. And then now let's save. And now just like that, in a split second, you can see that the tenant has been onboarded asynchronously. So let's view our logs. So if you just go to view logs, this is the all process. So we can also check at the worker, that is the Celery worker. If we monitor the logs clearly, you can see that executing send credentials, that was completed. Then executing create trial for tenant vision credit, that failed because it's saying subscription plan does not exist. Yeah, sure, the subscription plan did not exist because I did not add the subscriptions plans. I forgot to add the subscription plans. That is like the trial, the premium, and also the standard version for our SaaS application. So that is why we are getting this error. So it's a handy way of being able to monitor the logs and also see where the error is coming from. So you can see it's clearly telling me that the subscription does not exist. So I need to go back to my subscriptions plans and actually add all the plans that are needed. So we need to come back here, then save it. Right, you can also create another one for now, but that will do it if you now create a new, we onboard a new client. So that is how we onboard a new client using Django and Redis. So that setup will completely like 10x the speed of your application, because for like modern applications, performance and speed is everything. So that's why it's really important to configure these settings into your application. So that's it for today. We've learned how we can set up the Heroku Redis and also Celery into our live application. So in the next one, we are going to configure the payments. You're going to like make some payments and use Celery to actually update the status of the payment, because this is a SaaS application. Tenants are going to make applications via M-Pesa. Then to be able to update the status of the invoices and the payments, we are going to use the background task to be able to see how we can work with M-Pesa, Redis, and Celery. So that's it for today. If you found some value in this video, please consider subscribing and also share, comment, and like the video. So see you in the next one.